Hey. Back up. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video is my horse's first ever dressage show. Woo! So, something you might not know about me is my unofficial job at shows is to be camera girl. So I take pictures for everyone. As you can see here, I'll put some examples. And I have about an hour break, so I'm gonna take my horse out of his stall to go walk around because stalls are really small and I want him to stretch his legs. Here he is, the cutie. Hi, buddy. Here's the good boy. And we're just gonna take him for a little walk around the property before my ride. Goose is back in his stall. He has his grain. We went on a 20-minute walk and he's gonna get a lunch before our ride. Goose and me are gonna do intro and training level. Now, I'm a first level rider, however, his muscling nowhere near good enough for first level, so I'm not going to expect him to go like a first level horse. We did get put in opportunity because he wasn't registered for USDF, but we're not trying to qualify for anything right now, and it's $10 cheaper anyways, so honestly, I don't really care about that. Here he is with his gorgeous dressage brow band. He's going to go for a quick spin, and then he's going to get some downtime, and then we show. We just got done with our lunch. He was a very good boy, so now we're gonna let him eat and rest, and I'm gonna get on him in about an hour and a half. He's very hungry. And now for the part everyone wants to see, my dressage tests. What was not caught on camera was the sprinklers spontaneously started while we were going around the outside of the court, and we almost left the arena. So here we trot down center line and we do a walk to halt as specified in the test instructions, salute the judge, and then continue forward. It was super hot, and so we did not get the trot as crisp after the salute as I would have liked. Now, I'm not going to be going that deep into my corners during this test because it is intro and training level, which they don't necessarily want you to go super deep into your corners like you're riding a Grand Prix test. My geometry in my trot work is pretty decent. You'll notice we have negative pace in these tests, which is mostly due to the fact that I was terrified to push my horse forward. You can't hear it because I've muted the original audio of the test. However, there is 2 stallions right next to us screaming, which freaks Goose out. The test instructions said to pick up the canter on the first quarter of the circle and then break down to the trot before the end of the circle. So that's what we did. Our geometry wasn't that great, but we got the canter done. We pick up a little pace going across the diagonal because in first level you do extensions across the diagonal. So in intro and training level, you want to ride it as if you are going to do an extension. Riding your horse forward also helps keep your horse straight, which is very, very important. Once again, we are trotting along and we are just doing big 20-meter circles. In intro, you just want your horse to be slightly bent and in frame. So we did pretty okay, even though in my brain I was screaming the entire time because I was so worried and stressed that something was going to go wrong. If you're an equestrian, you'll get this. There are people who I worked with in my past who want nothing but to see me fail. So I really, really did not want to score below a 60 because I knew that these people would be watching what I scored because they think that I should not have bought a horse this young and that it doesn't make sense. That canter transition was great, the geometry was horrendous. Now we're going on to the medium walk and the free walk. Once again, both of these had negative pace, so I'm actually going to speed them up because I don't want to make you watch this. He is also really curly in the free walk and going behind the vertical. This is because, once again, we had negative pace and I did not push him forward enough. But I pick him up and we go straight into the trot. We cut that corner off horribly because who needs corners? Not us. Now we just trot down the long side and we turn onto center line, head down to X, halt, and salute. This test was not terrible for our first time out together and his first dressage test. However, I wished we could have done better. But I mean, if that isn't just the description of what dressage is, being overly critical of oneself. And here we go with test number 2. When I got out of the ring, my coach reamed me for pulling hard on his mouth while asking for the halt and not using my seat, so that's why we go pretty far past X. But overall, I was much happier with this down transition because I wasn't using too much hand. She also reamed me for not pushing my horse forward in the walk because I should know better, which is true, I absolutely should have. Now this test is training 1, and once again, I didn't push him forward enough, and that's why he's starting to get really fussy. Because if you don't push your horse forward enough, they're not going to be able to relax down into your hand, and then when you try and put your inside leg on to move them into your outside rein, or if you try and pick your reins up to help them steer or anything like that, they're gonna get really upset because they're not moving forward enough and they can't balance correctly. Because we didn't have balance, that's why that circle was so bad. During this test, you are going to see that while we do canter on the first quarter of our circle, we do not canter all the way down to B. This is because I was struggling to pick up the canter in the warm-up ring because I got super far into my head, and my main goal was just to pick up the canter in general. As such, this absolutely tanked our final score, but honestly, my main goal was to just go in the ring and not leave the ring. And that's what we did. So in my opinion, we crushed it. Now you'll see I made a little bit more of an attempt to push the walk forward, and it is a little swingier, but overall, not a massive improvement, but that is just something very big we have to work on. And we knew that before coming to this show. Before coming to the show, we had a whole lesson where we just worked on trying to improve his walk. Once again, I will speed this up so we don't have to sit through the entire thing, because it's pretty bad. We were meant to pick up the trot at C, and we actually picked up the trot at C. I was really proud of him, and I was trying to push him forward, but I was taking too much hold of the reins, and that's why he was flipping his head a bunch, because he still doesn't have enough muscle, and he's pretty unsteady, and if you're not constantly rebalancing him, he will start to flip his head around, which unfortunately I did forget about, because when you step in the dressage court, sometimes you just remove your brain from your body. Which is clearly what I did this entire show day. Now here, we were trying to get a canter. It did not go well. I had to kick with both legs, which made me super upset, because that is not how you should ask for the canter. However, once again, my main goal was just to get in the ring and do everything. Once again, we broke at the end of our circle, and that was because I was super nervous, and instead of pushing him forward and using my outside rein to set him up for the turn, I just used my outside rein, so of course he was such a good boy and was like, oh, you just want me to trot. But we trot down center line and go to halt salute, and I was convinced this was the worst test I've ever ridden. Spoiler alert, it actually wasn't that bad, and I just need to learn to stop being so hard on myself.
Okay, so my phone died, so I didn't get much video. However, I do have some exciting news.
Hello everyone, I want to say thank you so much for watching part 1 of my video. Unfortunately, I do have to split it up into parts, because if I didn't, then the full video would be 40 minutes long. But I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the other parts, subscribe. I will post them in a week's time. And if you have any questions, comment below. And if you like the video, leave a like. Thank you so much. That is the end of the video. Remember, it's a dangerous world out there, so stay safe and don't die out there.